What is up, guys? We have the Aiper Surfer S2 automatic pool skimmer here, and this is an upgraded model of last year's model, the Aiper Surfer S1. So how does it do? How does this compare to the S1 here? Is it worth the price? Is it worth upgrading? Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. So before we get into this review, I want to mention that I am not sponsored for this skimmer here. Yes, I paid out of pocket. I will include features that I like and features I don't like, if any. Also keep in mind that this review is for how the skimmer works in my pool back here. Your pool might be a little different, so the skimmer might work better or worse in your pool. Also keep in mind that this is working off of the flow of your pool. Whether you're using a variable speed pump like I do or a high speed 1-speed pump, you might need to adjust the settings for any skimmer to work. But overall, keep an open mind, and I hope this review helps. So the Aiper Surfer S2 is the upgraded model of the S1 here. Now, as you can see, I've used this S1 quite a bit over the last year here. You can see it's got some wear and tear all around it right here. But to be honest with you, it still works just as great as day one. So how does the S2 compare? And to be honest with you, it is better, but is it worth the upgrade? Let's talk about it. First off, the Aiper Surfer S1 and the S2 here is what I would consider to be a standard automatic pool skimmer with extra features. So what do I mean by that? Well, first off, take a look at this. This is the Beta automatic pool skimmer here, and this is really great. This is the standard for which I compare all automatic pool skimmers to. And that's because it's been around the longest and it has a great reputation. It's lasted this long. The features included on this beta right here are the standard features for which I compare all other skimmers. All the basic features. Now, these two skimmers here, the S1 and the S2 in particular, have extra features. So obviously it's going to cost a little bit more extra. There's a difference in about $50 to $100 in the price here. So if you're able to afford that, it's definitely worth the upgrade here. So let's go ahead and talk about the Aiper Surfer S2 here and what makes it such a great choice for an automatic pool skimmer. First off, take a look at this Aiper Surfer S2 here. You can place it side by side here and you can see that it's noticeably bigger. Yes, it's taller than last year's model. Last year's model had a more sportier look, a slimmer look. This year on the Aiper Surfer S2, you've got this boxy rectangular design, and I love it. It's a more cleaner look to it. Now, in terms of weight here, this comes in at about 12.5 pounds here. So it's still pretty lightweight. It's got this easy to grip handle right here in the front, so you can lift it in and out of the pool. Let me turn this around and show you right over here. These are your control buttons here. Basically, you hold the power button here to turn it on. 2 seconds, turn it off, hold it for 2 seconds, same thing. Your Wi-Fi indicator here, and this is your status LED indicator, which will change colors depending on the status of the S2. Right down here at the bottom right here, you have the charging port. Let me pull that open and show you. It does come with a charging adapter that you'll have to plug in here to charge every single time you need to charge it. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that you have to make sure this area is dry when plugging it in. I wish that the S2 here had a magnetic wireless charging system, but it doesn't. This port works perfectly fine as long as you make sure it's dry when you plug it in. Magnetic wireless charging systems have a benefit in that it has an extra safety feature. It does not catch fire. But again, if you use this in the way that it's intended to be used, if you keep this area dry before plugging it in, you should have absolutely no problem plugging it in. Right down here, you have your two propellers here that help it move along the pool, and they're both attached to a brushless motor on the front of this right over here. You have an impeller that's powered by another brushless motor, so you have 3 brushless motors. Awesome. This up here on the side here, these are your guide wheels right here, and that's used to help it guide along the pool, but it's also used to protect the skimmer and your pool itself in conjunction with these little rubber guards on the side here, because all skimmers will eventually hit your pool. And this protects the skimmer and the pool from any sort of damage. Now, I'll set this right here so you can take a look at this right here. This is the gigantic solar panel right here. And now it's more cleaner look as opposed to the S1 over here. Now, this is a solar automatic pool skimmer. So what it means is that, yes, you can power it with the adapter. You can charge it with the adapter to the outlet back here, but with the power of the sun, when the sun is blazing down, it should charge your skimmer so that it runs all the time. During the swim season, when the sun is blazing down, you will not have to do anything to charge this skimmer. It will run 24/7 with just the power of the sun. Awesome. But if you use this during the fall and winter months, if you keep your pool open all year long like I do, you will have to take this out to charge when it's low on battery because of the lack of sunlight during the fall and winter season, or no sunlight at all. So let's talk about the battery power here. First off, the Aiper Surfer S1 was great in the sense that it ran continuously on battery power alone for 12 hours. The S2 here takes it a few steps forward. It runs for, get this, 35 hours. Yes, almost 3 times as long as the S1 here. That's pretty awesome. What this means is that instead of placing the S1 in the pool and taking it out every single day to charge and run it the next day and charge it every single day, you don't have to do that. The 35-hour runtime, you can take it out every other day. So it saves the amount of times you take it out of the pool every week in half, 3 to 4 times a week. And that's a lot of time saved. Okay guys, so I wanted to test out the battery and how long it really lasts. They claim it lasts 35 hours. Now, it's hard to mimic sunlight to put the cleaner in the pool in complete darkness for 35 hours. So what I did first was I put it in a dark closet. Let me open this up and show you that it's inside a dark closet right there, and it's still running. Now this is the 40-hour mark and it's still running, and I checked the battery percentage and it's over 30%. So what does that tell me? Well, first off, it tells me that this skimmer right here doesn't have an auto shut-off feature. It doesn't have a water sensor feature, meaning because it's out of the pool, I can keep it in the closet and it still runs. It doesn't shut off. So that's kind of bad. It means it'll drain the battery completely if you leave it on. It doesn't automatically sense the water and shut off. It does have a big battery and it can run 30 plus hours. But here's the thing. When you use the S2 in the pool, it uses more power. When it's pushing through the water, when its motors are really running through the water, when the sensors are activated, it uses more battery percentage. So when you place the skimmer in the pool, that 35-hour claim of continuous runtime on just battery power alone does assume you get some sort of sunlight. Now, they don't tell you how much sunlight you really need to hit that 35-hour runtime mark, but I know for a fact that if you have it in the pool, it uses much more battery percentage than, say, if it's sitting in a dark closet like it is right here. So keep that in mind. It can get a 35-hour runtime, but it does assume that you get some sort of sunlight through the day. Now, also used with this solar panel is what they call solar seeker technology, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It seeks out solar. And what this does is, if you're surrounded by trees, if you're surrounded by a rooftop of some sort, and you get shaded areas of your pool, when the battery on the S2 is low, it will move out of that shade to find that sunny area and stay there and park itself for about 15 minutes to absorb sunlight, and then it'll go back to cleaning the pool and repeat the process until the pool is fully clean. Awesome. Now let me turn this to the side right here to show you this right here. This circular button is attached to the anti-stranding bar system right here. Take a look at this here. You've got 4 corners right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bottom. If I turn this to the side, the front bars right here, the anti-stranding bars, you push this button here and look, it pops right out. So that's awesome. The 2 in the front are the same thing. On this side, there's a button as well that pops out. You can adjust the level by pushing the button and holding it in to whatever level you want. So that's great. Easy to open up your anti-stranding bars at the top. The bottom here, to activate the bottom here, is very simple as well. All you do is just pull this forward, just like that on both sides. And now you have your stranding bar system in place. Now, you don't necessarily have to use the anti-stranding bars. It's only if you notice that your skimmer is getting stuck in shallow water. If you've got a Baja shelf, a tanning ledge, if you've got steps with shallow water and you notice the skimmer getting stuck, then you will have to use those bars. And it's designed to stop it from going over that shallow water so that it's freely able to move around the pool. Now, let me flip this around here to show you the debris basket system. First off, let me show you this basket on the S1. I'm gonna pull this open to show you this basket right here. Set this down right here. Now, let me go ahead and take this basket out. They've moved it from a top axis to the bottom axis, and all you do is pull it, just like this, and it pulls out. Now, setting this down right next to each other side by side, you can see that the last year's model, the S1, actually is bigger than this year's model, the S2. Yes, it's going from 5 liters in terms of size down to a 4-liter basket. Now, you're thinking, wait, isn't it better to have a bigger basket because it means you have to empty it out less? And yes, that's true. But what's neat about this 4-liter basket is that it's packed with a few extra features that this basket over here on the S1 does not have. First off, you take a look at the filter itself here. If you place them side by side, it's hard to see, but the 4-liter basket on the S2 is actually finer. Yes, it uses a 150 micron filter. This means that compared to the 200 micron filter on the S1 here, this will capture even smaller debris. This means that you'll get your leaves, your twigs, your branches, your insects, yes, even your pollen and dust on both of these, yes, but the S2 here will pick up even smaller debris, so that's neat. Let me turn this around and pop this open here to show you another feature inside here. Take a look at this right down here. You open this up here to review your chlorine dispenser. Yes, this is really neat. It should be included in all skimmers because it really does make sense. It's not a complicated system. All it is a little compartment here that you put your little 3-inch chlorine pucks in, close it up, and you're good to go. It acts as a sort of a floaty in your pool to dispense chlorine, so that's really neat. I also want to mention that at the bottom of this, there is a little tab at the bottom right here that you can turn, just like that, to adjust the level of chlorine distributed inside it. If you take a look there, when I turn the knob, it'll open up wider and close depending on how much chlorine you want distributed, so that's neat. Now, one major benefit of this basket system right here is the fact that it has what they call a debris guard system. Yes, this right here is the debris guard system. It's just a really fancy word to say that there's a built-in flap here to trap debris from escaping out of the basket. A lot of the skimmers on the market right now, like the S1, the Beta, a lot of standard skimmers have an issue where debris tends to float out of the basket when it is stopped or reversing. And that's because whenever debris enters inwards and there's no motion to move, debris is freely able to escape out of the opening that it came into. With this flap system right here, when it's moving forward, the flap system will stay down. When it comes to a stop, it'll float up to stop debris. And finally, when it's reversing backwards, it'll stay up to stop debris right here from floating forward and escaping out. So although this is smaller in terms of size than last year's model here, it does have a few extra features. Now, if you take a look right over here at the top of this here, you've got a sensor right here and a sensor right here, 2 sensors here. And they actually put different sensors on the S2 here compared to the S1 model of last year. Last year's model uses ultrasonic sensors, which uses sound waves to detect objects in the pool. This year's model uses optical sensors, which uses colors to detect objects of the pool. So now you're thinking, what's the difference? Is one better than the other? And yes and no, it depends. Now, the ultrasonic sensors work well to detect sounds so that it can detect what kind of object it is in the pool and then move around them. It has a much larger distance to detect objects and it's able to adjust, but it adjusts slowly. On the other hand, optical sensors like the one on the S2 here, this uses color detection, so what it means is that it's able to see the object and move around it. Optical sensors have a much smaller range of detection, yes, but it reacts faster than ultrasonic sensors do. So in a sense, it works faster at detecting objects in the pool. However, I do want to mention one big downside to optical sensors. Optical sensors are very sensitive to dirt and dust. So if you have a pool that is very dirty, if your pool is not clear, not blue, it's green, it's brown, or whatever other color other than what it's supposed to be, then optical sensors here on the S2 is a major downside because it won't perform well at all. It will be too dirty for it to sense objects in the pool. But also keep in mind that all skimmers on the market, not just these here, not just this brand, all brands, they're designed to maintain an already well-maintained pool. So if you were to get any sort of skimmer, your pool should already be well maintained. If not, you need a whole bunch of chemicals, you need other cleaners to be used in conjunction and ran multiple times to get it back to the state that it needs to be in. So just keep that in mind. Another cool feature about the Aiper S2 here is the fact that it has what they call pool edge cleaning. Yes, the dirtiest part of your pool is the water line, the wall along the pool that meets the water's surface. Yes, and a lot of times debris will float to the edge along that wall and stay along that wall. Other skimmers on the market, all the standard cleaners, will tend to avoid it as it moves along the pool, including the S1. The S2 here has a feature where once it detects a wall, it will turn and move along the wall and clean that wall, which is a really neat feature. That means it's more efficient in picking up debris. Now, another feature of this S2 here that the S1 also has is the ability to use it with an online app. Yes, now that online app is very cool. If you're looking for an online app in a automatic pool skimmer, then the Aiper S1 was the first one to release a skimmer with an online app, and the S2 has the exact same app. Now, on that app, you'll be able to do just a few things. It's not overwhelmingly great at one thing. All it really does do is, one, it shows you the battery percentage of your cleaners. The S2 and S1 have the same sort of battery indicator, which helps because it tells you, if you check the app, how much battery percentage you have, and you'll know when you have to take it out to charge, if you need to take it out to charge. The second feature on that app that's really nice is the remote control feature. Yes, you can control these skimmers in the pool with a remote control, make it go forward, left, right, or backwards. And it's really neat if you want to target certain areas of your pool. It's like an RC car in the pool. I do want to mention, however, that if you're doing that, you might as well just grab a pool net, a little skimmer yourself, and manually just skim it out. It's much faster to have a human skim out an area than it is to use a machine than to control it to target an area. So just keep that in mind. But it's still a nice feature to have a little remote control. So I said a lot of good things about this Aiper Surfer S2, but what are some of the features that I think it's lacking that I wish it had? Well, first off, if you're dependent on the online app, don't be. There are going to be multiple times where the app does not work, so just keep that in mind. If you're wanting to use this for a Wi-Fi based type of cleaner, it doesn't always work. Now, this skimmer is designed to work in a lot of pools, many different shapes and sizes, but if you have an edgeless pool, if you have an infinity pool, a very expensive infinity pool, you cannot use the S2 in that. You cannot use it in a spa, so keep that in mind. Another thing about this Aiper S2 is the fact that you cannot use it in conjunction with any other corded cleaner. Yes, if you have a robotic cleaner that plugs into the wall and there's a cord to it to put into your pool, if you've got a suction side cleaner or a pressure side cleaner with a hose in the pool, you cannot use it at the same time as this automatic pool skimmer. Yes, you have to take the cleaner out to use this. There are other skimmers on the market with the smart detection feature, but this one here does not have that. And those skimmers on the market that do detect hoses and cords in the pool are in the higher price range. In general, if you just keep this skimmer to itself in the pool by itself, it'll work really fine. If you're using a cordless robotic cleaner at the same time, that's also okay to do as well. Just no cords allowed at the same time with this cleaner in the pool. So I talked about a lot of good features of the S2 here. I talked about some of the disadvantages of the S2 here. Let's finally place it into the pool and I'll show you how it works. Okay guys, so I'm ready to place it into the pool. I'll hold that power button for 2 seconds and it'll turn on. You hear it? You see that green light right there? It's ready to go. So I'll go ahead and place this in the pool. Just like that. And let it clean. Okay guys, so take a look at the Aiper S2 over here. It's approaching the edge of my pool right here. And it's starting to turn right here. And take a look at what happens right here. Remember, it does have that pool edge cleaning, so it's moving along the edge right now of the pool right here. So that's really neat. You see that? It's going straight now. And it's picking up all this debris right here as it moves along the edge wall here. Okay guys, so here is another example of the S2 activating its pool edge wall cleaning here. Now, from what I've noticed, it doesn't always activate whenever it approaches a wall. It just does it intermittently. So I can't really tell when it will activate, but when it does this, I can tell it's moving along the edge right here. I know it's going to move closer to the edge because that's the pattern here. When it turns, it will move closer to the edge. You can see it getting closer and closer to the edge here to pick up debris, and that's great. But I do want to mention it's not complete. It doesn't go all along the edge, and you can see it took it a while before it reached the edge completely. Now it will get to a point where it's kind of turns away as well, so it doesn't go all the way down the wall, even though my wall extends further down. It's just how it is. It doesn't activate completely. It doesn't clean the complete wall, but it still does a great job at collecting debris along the edge here. Okay guys, so take a look at how the S2 is soaking up all that debris there. It just picks it all up. It goes right into the mouth there, so that's really neat. It's got a wider opening. One thing I do want to say is that the S2 is higher in the pool. The older model, the S1, was lower in the pool, so this is actually raised up higher in the pool while it's cleaning. Okay guys, you can see that this is my tanning ledge over here. This is very shallow over here, probably only about 6 inches worth of water, but it does not get stuck. I am not using the anti-stranding bars. If you have a shallow section of your pool that's about 5 inches, it recommends that you do use the anti-stranding bars, but mine is about 6 depending on the time of the season, so that's great. It doesn't get stuck on my ledge here. Okay guys, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the S2 right here, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it off right here. And I do want to show you something here. I want to show you the debris guard system. Right inside here, you can see that there is debris in the basket right now. And the debris guard system is designed so that debris does not escape while it is paused in the pool. You can see that no debris is coming out right now. But more importantly, when it's reversing, let me go ahead and show you this motion here. When it reverses, you see that? No debris comes out. I'll do that again. I'll move it back and forth a few times just to show you that debris does not escape. And remember, that's because inside of this here is that flap that basically goes forward when it's going backwards, so debris cannot escape. Awesome. Okay guys, let me go ahead and take the S2 out of the pool right here. I'm going to lift it up this way and turn it off here. Off now, and let me just show you the debris basket here. I had a lot of debris in the pool. Let me open this up and show you. Look at all that debris right there. Look at all the different sizes of debris right here. You can see this big one right there. There's another big one right here. The different sizes right here. But you also have your smaller debris in the back right here as well. The smaller size debris back there. So pretty awesome. So you guys can see that the Aiper Surfer S2 here works really well in the pool. It'll do a really great job at automatically skimming the top surface of the pool. If you're in the market for a automatic pool skimmer, the S2 is a very good choice. But let me ask this question again. Is the Aiper Surfer S2 worth the money? Is it worth the upgrade? Yes and no. If you already have a skimmer and it's working perfectly fine, you do not need to upgrade this at all. No. Just keep using that skimmer until it breaks down, and then come back and take a look at this here. If you're in the market for a brand new cleaner, then yes, this is definitely worth the price here. You get a lot of features for the price here. So to sum it up, some of the major features that this S2 has over the normal S1 is the fact that, one, it has pool edge cleaning. This means that it will clean the dirtiest part of your pool along the edge, so that's great. 2, it has a better debris basket system. Yes, although it is smaller in terms of size than the S1, it does have a chlorine dispenser built in. It does have a finer filter, so it'll pick up much smaller debris. And finally, it does have that debris guard system, so debris does not escape out of the basket. Lastly, the S2 here has a much bigger battery pack. It lasts much longer than the S1 does. You'll be able to run it for 35 hours every other day and save a lot of time taking this out and charging it during the off season. Overall, if you're looking for a really great automatic pool skimmer, then the Aiper Surfer S2 right here is definitely a really good choice. Definitely a automatic pool skimmer here I recommend.
We hope this review helps.